you're doing on purpose. Sing like a singing on key. Talk to the girl that intimidates you. Pretend that you're brilliant and charming. I said pretend that you're brilliant and charming. Hey!
Welcome everybody, Later with Jason Suel. Man, I am thrilled that you're tuned into the show. It's the holiday season. Bo Counts is here. What's up, man? How you doing, Bo?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm great. It's been a weird year. I know we're wrapping up 2020. People have got weird emotions about this year, as I'm sure you do as well. But we're about to say goodbye to 2020 very soon, right?
Don't let the door handle kick you on the way out.
Man.
2020.
Oh, seriously. I'm just curious, what do you do kind of like prep for the holiday season at your house, whatever you're doing?
You mean normally or 2020?
Both, maybe.
Well, 2020, it's like more deadbolts on and chains in case things get really crazy. But normally, it would be, you know, finding time to hang out with family, finding time to see your friends who are in town visiting, and all of those fun, cool traditions that I don't get to have.
I know. You know, something I'm doing different this year is cooking, which I've cooked a little bit in the past if you count throwing mac and cheese in the microwave cooking. But this year, I've found a passion for kind of like sourcing things, going to the grocery store, coming up with a recipe, buying those ingredients and throwing it all in the pan or whatever it is. So
because everyone's got a lot more time at home.
I know.
And, you know, if there's any one good thing that hopefully will come out of the holiday season of 2020 being stuck at home, is a lot of those traditions that I think people started to ignore and let fall to the wayside over the past couple of decades. Maybe some of those will start to come back.
Yeah.
And I think holiday traditions are one of my favorite things.
I totally agree. You know, we recently, you know, putting the ornaments on the Christmas tree, kind of, and seeing all of those ornaments from throughout the years that we've collected, you know, has been really fun part of our tradition. And obviously, you know, cooking is a big deal around the holidays. Eating as well, which I know that we both are big fans of.
Clearly.
Another thing we're both big fans of is the guests that we have on the show today. So kind of let me walk you through what's going to happen on this very festive holiday-themed episode. We've got Randy Wilburn joining us from the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. He has recently, in the last 6 years, moved to the area, started this podcast. He has a love for where he lives, and we're going to hear a little bit of his passion. And then I know your favorite segment and mine, you know, we've got Chef Erin Rowe making us a drink later in the show that's perfect.
Wish that we
for the
could
holidays.
Gather and drink the thing.
I know. I wish we could see her in person as well as virtually, like we're going to do today. We've got the music of the great Northwest Arkansas musician Dana Louise on the show. Really thrilled. This is the first time we've had a music video from her on our show, curated by our great friends at City Sessions. Jared Sears does a great job with them. And then right now what we're going to do is I had the chance to head up to the Hive in Bentonville at 21C, socially distanced, and I got a sort of cocktail lesson from the bartender there at the Hive. Let's take a look. Hey folks, we're here with Food and Beverage Director John Robinson at the Hive at 21C in Bentonville. Hey, thanks for having us out, John.
Absolutely.
So, it looks like you've got all the right ingredients here to make a Manhattan.
First thing we need is a mixing glass. So you can use a pint glass, or if you have a really nice official mixologist mixing glass, you can always use one of those.
I'm sure everybody has an official
Absolutely they do.
mixing glass.
And then we have our jigger. This is what we're going to be measuring into. We have our strainer right here. And then we have the glass that we're going into, of course. And then this is the tool that's going to be doing it all, which is our bar spoon. All right, so we are going to start with our Angostura aromatic bitters. 2 good dashes of that.
Do you always do that? You put the bitters in first in a Manhattan?
Mm-hmm, you do. I mean, that's kind of tradition, but not something you have to do. You can do the bitters afterwards. But generally, we start with bitters, and then we move through our ingredients after that.
Okay, good to know.
And then we're going to do a nice heavy pour of this Old Forester Signature 100. Whenever we're making Manhattans, we like a nice high proof bourbon. That way it really stands above all of those other ingredients. It's all about the base spirit, you know? That's where you want to start, is with a good quality base spirit.
Well, what is it about Old Forester that you like and that makes it worthy to be in this
Absolutely,
cocktail?
yeah. Old Forester is a high rye bourbon. High rye bourbons tend to have a little bit more of a spice characteristic, and so that's really going to play well with the sweetness of the sweet vermouth and then the spices in the apple cider.
Okay, cool.
All right, and then we're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. So we use this Contrato brand here. You can use whichever brand you'd like, but whenever you go to purchase a vermouth, do make sure for this recipe that it is a sweet vermouth.
Right.
So they do sweet red, they do sweet white, and then they also do dry vermouths, which is like what you'll see in martinis. So very important for this recipe to make sure that you get a nice sweet red vermouth.
Okay, good to know.
And then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of our apple cider syrup. All right. And now before we stir this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell you just a little bit about the stirring technique. So if you have a nice bar spoon at home, the real goal here is to not cause a whole lot of movement with the ice. You really want to make sure that the ice swirls around nicely with the spirit and just kind of coaxes it all together and causes a little bit of dilution,
Right.
and then just incorporates those ingredients. And we're not shaking this cocktail. If you've ever been to a nice bar, you'll know that some cocktails are shaken, some are stirred.
Or if you've ever seen any James Bond movie.
Yes,
right?
yes, exactly. So we want to give this a stir, and then we're going to put our strainer over, and we are going to pour this directly into the glass.
That's great.
Yeah.
Man, this drink looks fantastic. I'm hopeful that our audience at home also made this along with you while you were doing it. Let's just give a little cheers. You want to pick that glass up and give a cheers to it? I'm just going to pick up this this waterproof right here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Enjoy those drinks.
Enjoy.
Sam's Furniture doing good. Shine a spotlight on your neighborhood.
Well, we are here at Sam's Furniture, and we've got Jenny Sorey from Hub of Hope. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me, and thank you to Sam's for providing the opportunity.
Man, we love it here. They always set us up so nice. They put us on a really
is.
comfy couch
Very
today.
comfy, very
Yeah,
comfy.
Very comfy. Tell us about the work Hub of Hope does in our
Yes,
community.
I would love to. So we are a nonprofit based here in Northwest Arkansas. We work to bring healing and opportunities to victims of human trafficking, and we provide prevention and education to the community. So we do that in a variety of ways. We do a lot of awareness and education events where we teach the public to recognize the markers and identifiers of human trafficking. And then we also do lots of outreaches. Our hope is to come in contact with survivors, many who don't even know that they're a victim of a crime, and help them move from that place of entrapment, enslavement, exploitation into a life of freedom and restoration and healing.
Well, say I wanted to get involved. How would I do it?
Hey, we love volunteers. In fact, at this time, we are an all-volunteer organization. And so you could reach us on hubofhope.org, and we're also on social media at Hub of Hope NWA.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
you.
me. Boom. Hey,
Ooh.
come on.
Welcome back, everybody. Later with Jason Suel. So glad that you're tuned in. And we are honored right now to have Randy Wilburn joining us from I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast. Man, so good to see your face, your smiling face. So great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, now Jason, thank you so much. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to be a part of this. I remember watching this show from almost the time when I got here. I don't know how long it's been on the air, but I remember checking it out. I'm like, oh, that's a cool show. And I've always been big into late night shows and shows that kind of do things that are a little different than normal. And I would count your show as one of those. So.
Thank you.
Honored.
We're honored. We appreciate that. Absolutely. Now, you talked about before you moved here, maybe, you were searching on the internet, our show popped up, but when was it that you actually moved to Northwest Arkansas?
So I physically relocated in 2014. So just about 6 years ago from the time that we're recording this, my family and I picked up stakes, moved from Boston, came here to Northwest Arkansas, and we haven't looked back.
Can you give us your best Boston like little accent there?
Boston. Well, see, here's the thing. I'm not from Boston originally, so that's why when people see me out, they're like, how come you don't like the Patriots or the Red Sox? And I'm like, oh, my family's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, how come you're not in the mafia?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, no, all of that is, there's no Boston accent. So
That's right.
My boys are wicked smart, so.
Wicked smart. That's it. This podcast, I Am Northwest Arkansas. Give us the details on that, just so that our viewers know, like, how they can tune in. But more importantly, what's it about? Because everybody's doing a podcast these days. So what's yours about?
Yeah. So, and just to kind of preface that, this is not my first rodeo. I've been doing podcasting for a long time, almost since 2009. So I'm kind of an old head.
Oh, back on
when it comes to
iTunes. I'm an old header
Exactly.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done more than 600 plus podcast episodes, and this is the latest podcast that I've done, which is I Am Northwest Arkansas. And the goal is to focus on the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life here in the Ozarks. And what I've tried to do, Jason, is create information and tell stories about this area for people that are coming here, as well as people that already live here, because I get
because we just mentioned, there's a lot of folks who are starting podcasts or wanting to get on kind of the podcast train. What advice do you have, since you're an OG? You've been doing
leave
this
it
for
to
a
the
while.
professionals. That's the advice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, couple of things real quickly. Sound does count, okay? You have to have good microphones. In my studio, I have some really high quality microphones, but you can get started on a budget and still do right when it comes to creating quality sound for your audience. The second thing that I always tell people is just get started. You have to press record. It's more a mindset than anything else. When I started this podcast, I said, hey, I'm just going to tell different people's stories and learn a little bit more about the area. I'm 96 episodes in as of the recording of your show.
Consistency is so important.
Consistency is everything. So that would be my advice.
Yeah.
And then a good topic. Don't be too broad, which is why I focused on what I'm focused on. This Northwest Arkansas is a niche, and this is the focus of this podcast, the niche. I don't want to talk about all these different places you could go. I just want to talk about right here in my own backyard and focus on that.
Yeah.
And then you can find some success doing a podcast.
Hey, if our viewers want to listen in to your podcast, where can they find you, Randy?
Absolutely. Certainly Apple Podcasts, but anywhere that great podcasts can be found, and they can visit our site, IamNorthwestArkansas.com, and our podcast lives natively there as well. So
okay.
But we're on Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Amazon. You can ask Alexa, hey Alexa, play the latest episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, and Alexa will oblige you.
I love it. You heard it here, folks. Randy, thank you so much for the time. It's always great to visit with you. You're such a professional. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Folks, stick around. We got more happening later.
Smith & Associates Real Estate is a proud sponsor of Later with Jason Suel. They're excited to be a part of the growth and continued success in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, today my basil lay. Today my basil lay.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Later with Jason Suel. So glad to be joined right now by Chef Erin Rowe. She's coming to us from her kitchen, and she's going to make some amazing cocktail, I think is what we're doing today, right? Or maybe some kind of hot chocolate sort of thing. What are we doing, Erin?
We're going to do a peppermint hot cocoa, which you could spike if you wanted to, Jason, for your holiday party.
Duh.
Yeah. Cheers. Well, talk us through it.
Cheers.
Let's talk about it. I would love to hear more.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on a little pot on the stove. A lot of times people will make peppermint hot cocoa like in the microwave, but you can actually make it at home pretty easily.
Microwave is a no-no. No, no, no.
I know, right? Yeah, especially, no, I use heavy cream because it doesn't break down. So I'm going to do a little bit of heavy cream, and which is kind of a nice way to like bring in that kind of heavier milk product.
And it's so healthy. It's so good for
It
you.
is. Yeah, it's so good. Exactly.
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
holiday time, calories kind of don't matter. That's what I hear.
right. Yeah, exactly. So then, speaking of calories, so we're looking at, obviously, to make cocoa sweet, you need sugar. This is about 1/8 of a cup of just white sugar. I'm going to put that in there with the heavy cream. I put a little bit of water in there as well, just to kind of not make it completely heavy. Now, if you really want it heavy, you could. Now, here's the key. You use baking cocoa versus like a sweetened thing. So this is like rich. The Aztecs were the inventors of hot cocoa, and the Mayans, that time period back in like really early times, this was a ceremonial drink. And that's where we get sort of a hot cocoa or a cocoa drink. Now, hot cocoa is a little bit different from hot chocolate.
The darker side of the rest of that story is they would drink the ceremonial hot cocoa, and then they would take the sacrifice up to the chalk mool and remove their heart.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well,
So
we're
there
not
you go,
doing
a
that
little
today,
Aztec history
though,
for you.
although If you're volunteering, you can come over.
Yeah.
And it will see what we can do.
We've obviously
I'm bringing
transitioned
you with
away
knife.
from that.
Hey, the
I'm
Aztecs,
adding a
man.
little bit of peppermint extract to make it peppermint. And the key to this, and you know what? Here is one of my little favorite things with hot cocoa, a tiny little bit of salt. So I'm just going to do a slight pinch. And then the main thing is that in order to get this kind of cocoa to almost emulsify, I have to use a whisk or like a little buzzer. I've got this little guy here. I got this at IKEA, and it actually, you can make latte foam with it. You can also use it to make hot cocoa.
Oh, interesting. So what does that thing do? Does that heat up? Is that what that does?
Yes. Well, this one doesn't heat up, it
vibrates,
just
doesn't
frothes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it just frosts, if you will. And then what I'm doing is I'm just heating all of this up on the stove. So I've basically got that cream, or if you don't have heavy cream, but milk tends to break down. And so I really recommend heavy cream because it sticks together. And if you're going to have hot cocoa, you might as well have a rich, indulgent drink for the holidays, right?
In.
Now, if you want to up your peppermint dosage, which who doesn't for the
Right.
holiday?
The more the
I
merrier.
crushed up some candy cane, and you can just take a candy cane, pour it right in your cup. If you want to really up that dosage of cocoa or chocolate,
Yeah.
pour that in your cup. And then if you really want to be like me, you're going to have to put marshmallows
Gotta
in
put
there.
marshmallows
So pour
in
that
there.
in your cup.
Yeah, same.
It's
So
more
I'm
food
gonna pour
than
that
drink
in
now.
my cup and drink it. Yeah. So I've got all those things. And then I've got this luxurious cocoa that I just made, and it smells like
Ooh,
peppermint.
man.
It smells like I walked through the twirly gumdrops in the candy cane forest to get to New York City,
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'm just going to pour this like directly in the cup.
Nice.
good
You're
stuff
pouring it
melt.
on top of all of those
Boom.
other bits. And
And
obviously,
I might
the marshmallows
add a
float right to the
candy
top. Yeah, add a candy
you do.
cane.
And then that's what I like. They get like kind of emulsified into that too. And you got your candy canes.
Yeah. Oh, cheers. Yes,
Cheers.
absolutely. Yeah, cheers. Now, before we let you go, I do have to ask, Merry Christmas. I do have to ask, you've been doing these culinary tours, and they might look a little bit different due to the pandemic. Are they still happening? What's going on with that, Erin?
Oh yeah. So the culinary tours are still happening, Jason, and they are actually really wonderful right now. Because of COVID, there have been some blessings in the sense that the restaurants have more space so you can hear all the people you're with. All the restaurants are very much practicing the sanitary practices that are required for COVID-19, and it really hasn't changed my tours much at all, because whenever we arrive to go to a restaurant, we've already pre-ordered the food and everything's already good to go. So as soon as we sit down, we can take off our masks, and we really don't have to wear them outside. And so really, There's not much difference. I can still do tours between 4 to 16 people, and we do walking downtown Rogers tours and walking downtown Bentonville tours. I'm actually doing one tonight for 10 people, and it's just really fun. 4 tastings, a cocktail or a beverage on the way. History, arts, and culture with me for 2.5 hours.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. And if our viewers want to reach out and they want to find out more information, what's the website? How can they do that?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram as well, under Ozark Culinary Tours. And then I'm also on the web, at ozarkculinarytours.com.
Awesome. Erin, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. Always great to see your face. Cheers.
Aw.
Enjoy that drink.
Cheers.
I'll enjoy this one as well. Stick around, folks. We got more happening later. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in Later with Jason Suel. Remember, you can find us out there on your social media platforms. Send us an email over at laterwithjasonsuel.com. And of course, before we leave the episode, this very festive episode, we've got to thank our guests, including the man, the myth, the legend, the one behind the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, Randy Wilburn.
And of course, don't forget the delicious drinks we had from Chef Aaron Rowe.
That's right. And our friends at The Hive in Bentonville.
And then we got to hear music from Dana Louise.
That's it. That's our show. See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Oh, it's Bo. Look at you.